I wanted to make a video to tell you guys a little bit about the story of Dynomighty, because I think sometimes when people see our site or they see our product, they think, wow, this must be some big company, and although we're getting there, I just wanted you guys to know like kind of where we come from, who we are, and how we've come to be where we're at. So a little bit about the motivation and hopefully inspiration of Dynomighty. And so I wanted to start with a book, reading from a little book by Olin Steinhauer called The Tourist. And let me just start with that. He descended into the subway and spent $7 on a day pass, then took the train to north to 53rd Street to the Museum of Modern Art. He skipped the milling crowds waiting to enter the galleries and went off to the gift store. He visited a month ago with Tina and Stephanie during the 1000th Van Gogh exhibition. They'd come for Stephanie's benefit, but other than a few comments on his choice of colors, she didn't have much use of the one-eared Dutchman. It was in the gift shop that she'd come alive. Milo, too, had enjoyed the store and puzzled a long time over an interesting piece of jewelry he'd hoped was still there. He came around to the glass case and found it, the magnetic bracelet collection designed by Terrence Kelleman. "Can I help you?" said a teenage boy in a MoMA shirt on the other side of the case. "That, please." It was remarkable in its simplicity. A series of 100 or so quarter-inch long nickel-plated rods clinging together solely by magnetism. He snapped it open to test the strength, then put it back together. He tried another link. Yes, it might work. Um, Someone told me about that passage in the book, and I couldn't believe it. It was, and it's a perfect way to start this story, because that was where I was working when I had the idea for the first magnetic bracelet. That was the first product that I ever designed. And essentially I was working for the retail stores. I was working in the e-commerce division, and they had a product that was a prototype that I had broken open to take the magnets out of, because there was all these little magnetic pieces that locked together. And when I put the magnets on my desk, suddenly they shot together into a line, and I took it out, I picked it up, and I looked at it, I said, geez, that could be, why couldn't this, you could make jewelry out of this. And then I set about running around the office telling people that I was going to make magnetic jewelry, and everybody was like, So um, I worked on it for about a year. This was in 2001. In 2002, I had the first design with the optimal sort of strength and size and whatever, and started selling it at the MoMA Design store. And it sold really well, and from there, the company grew and grew. But there's also an important backstory to that, which is that before launching myself into a career of design and being the president of a company and corporation, but I was actually an artist. I was just working here in New York, trying to make my way, and I had a recent at that time, I think it was in 2002, I had an exhibition at a gallery in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, called Cave Gallery. And it was a solo, well, not as a solo show, but I had the main space, and I had a lot of photographs of my work, and I did some performance art pieces for the show, and it was I invested my heart and soul in that show, I went to the Home Depot. I bought the poplar myself. I cut the wood to make the frames, to polish the plastic. My girlfriend at the time, poor Roxanne, had to polish all those sheets. I'm sorry about that still. Until they were shimmering, brilliant, clean. And it was an tremendous amount of work. But no one, my goal for the show was that I wanted to sell a piece of artwork. It was really important to me, after investing so much time, so much energy, that I find that there was some purpose, some reason to continue and down this direction. And unfortunately, it was one of the least attended exhibitions I think I've ever had, and that month was very rainy, and very few people came. I didn't sell anything, and the only thing that actually did sell were some of the magnetic bracelets that I left at the counter at the receptionist. So it was kind of a it was kind of a sign, I guess, in a way, to me, that well, if this isn't working, then I'm going to do this other thing. And my motivation was really that if I could just make this magnetic jewelry thing happen, then I could potentially one day live in the financial freedom to do whatever I want artistically. Um, so that was my real motivation, in the beginning, was from an artist standpoint, was to find the financial freedom to do whatever it is I wanted to. So that's where the whole company began, and that's where um, the whole thing started. From there, things got more busy and actually very busy. We had we grew really rapidly, and then in 2006, when we had this video success on YouTube, this like blowout viral success on YouTube, which is now I think at like 3.6 or 3.7 million views. I just did a video showing like the tricks that I could do with the bracelet, and then it was this huge viral hit, and it really launched us into a whole new dimension. And the company got bigger, and we grew quicker, and it was actually the same time my daughter was born, so it was a lot of my first daughter, Alice. So it was really difficult to balance all these things at once. We basically sold as much product in 3 months as we did in the entire year previous. So it was a huge, uh, you know, opportunity for us. And from that point on, I just launched myself entirely into, moving the business into that direction, to, online video marketing, exploiting all the opportunities we had, growing the product line, introducing the Mighty Wallet, Death Dots, like the totes, Mighty Tags, Mighty Totes. It it was such a sort of wellspring of opportunities, and it was almost like I didn't know which direction to go, which thing to do first, um, and on top of that, now being a father and then having those responsibilities, it felt like a tremendous responsibility to make it happen, and it was just what a tumultuous time. I mean, I never knew how busy a person could be until that all, until you start to run your own business. That's when you really recognize how wild and intense it can become. Um, but the reason I say all that is not just because I'm complaining about it. It's just because, in a way, in that whole clamor for success and to build the company into the next thing, and because somewhere along the line there, I kind of lost track of what it was, the original dream, original goal of Dynnomighty. And so I was recently with a colleague, and we were discussing like our goals and whatever, and he said, well, where do you want to be in 3 or 5 years, and what do you want to do? And I started like reciting off facts of like, well, facts are our sales expectations, and he said, no, where do you want to be? What do you want to do? And it sort of clicked to me. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I forgot. Like, all this time, the reason why I started all of this is because I wanted to one day have the freedom to make my art again. And it was an amazing sort of revelation to think that, God, I somehow lost track of that along the way. So and then in a way, when I started realizing the way that Dynnomighty has been evolving, and that now we're working on wallets that you can draw on yourself, and all the different varieties of wallets that we're making that kind of give personality and individualization to you, and I see that in a way Dynnomighty is really an extension of what it was of my own hope, which was to be creative and to be expressive. And I hope that in some ways through our products, or even just through this story, that people feel motivated and inspired, because I say all the time, be mighty. And it's not just because it's a slogan or catchphrase, it's because I really believe in that. I think if you believe in yourself, and you have a lot of energy, and you're tenacious, and you're willing to fight for your dreams, I think you can make it happen. And so I think that's what the message of Dynnomighty is that empower yourself, become better, do what it is that you want to do in your life, and you can make your dreams come true. So that's all I wanted to say. And that's to me, I couldn't ask for something more meaningful for to having come from this background in fine art and working on a day job to now have this business, and to not have to run it like a business, but to run it as I run it like a business, but to have to not to have to run it like a corporation, like every other corporation, but to design the company so that the company is about inspiring people. And so with that, I just wanted to say one last time, be mighty. I get emails from many of you almost like on a daily basis. It's, how they like either the products or the company, or and I find that so inspiring. To know that there are people out there to appreciate not only what it is we do, but how we do it. And I hope that you will impart this story and this inspiration to other people too, because I think it's something that we're a little bit short of nowadays, and needs to be spread. So with that, be mighty.